And I can't hold it much longer. Gonna let go so I can be free.
Todd, Father, Kratz, and Braun might get a little goofy because it's Friday. Okay, so before we get to news, I just want to say that I feel as if this meeting between Kratz, myself, and Todd, Father, is going so well. There's a setup here. Would you guys agree? It's going well, right? We're meeting, we're talking. Yeah, this has a lot to do with the meetings that you hear about now. So I wasn't on yesterday, but Fried and Burns had meetings with the Yankees. They went well, Todd. Just wanted you to know they went well. Tell me one time you've ever heard a disaster meeting of that type, right? Free agent meets with team on a Zoom, says, hey, we like you. We'll send you an offer later. The only time it would not go well is either if the presentation flubbed, like it wasn't working, it malfunctioned, which our friend Tim Healy brought up recently, or I don't know, maybe they don't like that I'm having a rough hair day, Kratz, and they're like, yo, Braun's hair was too high. I'm not signing with them. But otherwise, I'm like, do we really need that? The meeting went well. They spoke. They said there's interest. Even if you're the player and you're like, yo, I hated that guy that was talking most of the time. You're looking to get an offer. Even if you don't want to go to the team, you're looking to get an offer. So I'm struggling here, Todd, Father. Tell me about a bad meeting.
I would love to hear a meeting and somebody really comes out and says, I don't think that went well. I thought we came in with flying colors. Hopefully good things would happen. We get things done. Did you hear the tone in that guy's voice when he was talking to you? Like, was he mad at us? Like, hey, we'll pretend it's Erik. And Erik, like, they called us. And then all of a sudden, like, dude, I don't think you're going to go to this team. Oh, yeah, no, I don't think so either. They want to grab lunch. No, that's not what happens. Everybody has to come out. It has to be happy-go-lucky because you don't want to show your cards and say this or that. I just wish if these are businessmen and women that come and offer and want to get a person, why not hey, listen, we want you guys. We're looking around like right away. Like if you want somebody right away, go get them. And be like, hey, this is where we're at right now. This might not be set in stone. We have a little wiggle room. 6 years, $100 million. Talk to me. You know how fast these meetings would probably go and how much more phone conversation and dialogue they would have? In my opinion, that's the type of business that I would want to do. And that's what I do with other people. Like I try and get people to help out with my travel ball team. And I'm like, listen, dude, this is what I would like for you to do. Talk to me. Let's have a little conversation. And most of the time it works out. Sometimes it doesn't.
I'm going to go Tom's River East and see if they want me to coach because you already offered me free hotels on the road. My son doesn't have to pay for the travel ball tournaments. And Tom's River East, they told me that they're going to give me a per diem and free bagels every tournament.
Oh,
so because you went right ahead and gave me the offer right away, can you hook me up with some bagels and some locks?
Come on, baby. All day. You got it.
All right. So then let me present an offer that's been reported. Let's charge the damn mound.
He's charging the mound.
Well, MLB.com action. McTaggart, right? Mm-hmm. He's MLB.com. Okay.
Yep.
6 years. I was off yesterday, so give me a break. 6 years, $156 million is the offer. Yeah, there he is. Our boy Brian. 6 years, $156 million put out there by the Astros. So let's do this Todd Father style, okay? Todd, we're in a meeting, and Michael Schwab, who's been on the show too, said it's been out for several weeks now, first reported by Nightingale. He can confirm the number. He said, I believe the Astros could up their offer even more, but not go over 6 years. Still a lot going on. Okay, so I'm sitting down with Todd Father, and I go, hey, Todd, we want you. We're the Astros. We love you. We want you to be an Astro for life. We don't do the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year dance. We do it shorter. We'll give you what we think is market value. Matt Chapman just made a deal for 6 years, $151 million. There's definitely some similarities there. So we'd like to throw this 156 your way. It would be the biggest deal in franchise history, bigger than the extension that we gave out initially to Altuve back in 2018. Take it or leave it right now. What are you doing?
How old is Bregman? I'm not 33, 30.
30.
30.
And
6
Chapman
years. Okay.
was what, a year or two older than him when he took his? I think it's a year differential. And
I think
just to
he's
give you
1 year
some more context of where you're coming from, you felt like you signed a team-friendly deal initially with the Astros, which was for $100 million years back. And there have been rumors and reports that you're more interested in the $200 million range. So you're at the meeting. You want to get these things done. What are you doing?
I am. I'm very much interested. As we said earlier, I appreciate that offer that you've guys given to us. 6 years, 156. He wants. Here's the thing, though, guys. My man Alex right here wants to end his career a Houston Astro. He wants to end it. He has timestamps. He knows he's going to have a family. He's gonna want to live his life. He wants 8 years for 220. Okay, what can you do there?
I
They're
can
not
go
going over.
6. Hold on. Astros went. Okay, come back. I can go 6, 168.
You know, I appreciate that offer, Alex. As we've talked about, we'll bump it down a little bit, but we still want those 8 years. We want those last 2 years of his career, and we'll make it an easy. Let's see here. We'll make it 8 for 25. So now that would be We'll go 8 years, 200 million. Not much more wiggle room there, though.
Okay. Respectfully, there's no chance we can ever go 8. Jim Crane's not in the room, but the owner says he can't do that. So this will be the first meeting ever reported to have not gone well.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you guys. Alex is not going to be a happy camper. And, we'll make sure we tell the Houston Astros that you guys weren't willing to, give us what you wanted, what we wanted. It'll be in the newspaper tomorrow. We worked our butts off for this, and you sons of guns didn't do anything. No.
All right. So where are we at, though? For real, like Kratz, is it worth it? Should he be getting more money from somewhere else? We don't know, obviously, the offers from anywhere else, if there even are offers yet. There will be. There's other teams interested, obviously. And actually, at this rate, I think many teams would be interested. So that's why I don't think he's going to get this money. I think he's going to get – will he get 200? I'm not sure, but I think he's going to get damn close.
Yeah, and to me, it's going to be a lower AAV from every other team except the Astros. I think that's 6 years. Why they're really hard and fast on that 6 years, I don't know. I don't know what the idea is at 36, 37 years old, if they feel like that's where position players are going to drop off. But who knows? I mean, if somebody's going to age well, I feel like Bregman's somebody that will age well, just because it's a short, compact swing. He's been out there every day. To me, your window's the next 4 years is the Astros anyway. If you keep this core around Tucker, Jordan will still be there. But to me, if he's looking for AAV, he's going to stay with the Astros. If he's looking for most money, to me, he probably could get up to like 185, 187, I think is what I had originally said. But you figure you're getting another $30 million, and the team that'll sign will want to put it in 8 years, so it'll be a less AAV because it'll spread that money out a little bit. I don't know. I think if it's 30 million more, he's going to go somewhere else. That's why I think your second offer, 168, I think he stays for 10 to 15 million less. I think he stays in Astro because he seems like he's loved it there. Seems like he has, been semi-pleased because he signed a team-friendly deal early on, but he has made an amazing career in Houston. So to me, I think if it's 10 to 15 million, I think he stays. If it's a gap of 30 million, he definitely goes somewhere else.
Isn't it funny to think about this? Like, I'm going to be a fan for a second, okay? We're talking 157 million to 200 million. Now, as an average fan, it's like, bro, that's $157 million that you're going to get over 6 years. Take the darn money and go play for 6 years and just run off and be as happy as a clam, and your family's set for years to come. Like, just think about what we're talking. We're not talking about, pennies and nickels. We're talking about millions of dollars. Isn't that absolute
Get
crazy?
out of here, though. He's got a bigger offer. If he's got a bigger offer, why shouldn't he go there? If he doesn't feel like he needs to stay and he's like, yo, listen, the Astros make a ton of money. He knows that. And he's been a surplus value guy for them because he signed a team-friendly deal the first time around. So
Agreed.
in his mind, he's like, hey, Houston, I get that you don't go more than 6 years for everyone. Maybe you should for me. Maybe I'm worth that.
But does he have an offer somewhere else? Is that
well, we don't know yet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if he has an offer on the table from one or two other teams, just one team that he says, you know what, I'll definitely go there if they don't come up. Boom. Now the agent and Alex have the opportunity to say, listen, this is where we're at with somebody else. Can you come up to this level? And if they can't come up to that level, then sign me up. That's it. But it's a crazy amount of money, man. It's unbelievable just to be talking about it. I don't know. I'm fan gazing over here a little bit about all these scenarios. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen with Soto here. Hope it happens by the end of the week, like they're saying. So
yeah,
it's incredible.
We'll do a nice, pretty segment on Soto coming soon. Ken's going to join us in a minute too. My last thought here is comps. This is what the Scott Boras camp will use. This is what any agency will use. 11 years, $280 million for Bogarts. They're going to try and point there. That's not going to go well. Okay, let's go to the next one. 8 years, $260 million for Nolan Arenado. If I'm Bregman's camp, I'm going, okay, you're telling me I'm not Arenado? That's fine. But you're telling me I'm 150 and he's 260? Why are you shaking your head?
Jump. He's not 150. I mean, to me, I think it was a low ball offer. And that's what I like. I mean, this is why exactly what Todd was saying. Why do teams not just go in there, hey, we want you? Because you could offer some dude an amount of money that you're like, wow, you just totally disrespected me with that amount of money. Nolan Arenado, possibly one of the best defensive third basemen of all time, not of our time, of all time. And he's not up in that category. Arenado's numbers were ridiculous when he signed that contract. So to me, it's somewhere in between there. And I honestly think the Astros come up. I think they come up on this, and I think they'll be okay not stretching it to a 7th or 8th year, and they'll still get the job done.
It's a token offer. Let's see what happens. It's a token offer just to get the ball rolling.
And remember, to finish it off, we don't know exactly what they want either. We don't know what Bregman wants and what, the years. I mean, years wise, like, is he stuck on 8 years? Is he stuck on a certain amount of years? I know what money he wants, but yeah, I know. Little Pac-Man Jones with the
Pac-Man. Well, my theory that I usually go with is most players, especially in this position, want the biggest overall present day number. That is what's most important. How much money am I being brought in? He doesn't care. You want to make it 10 years to spread out the average annual money? Cool. Go for it. Have a great time. Right? Does anyone think Trey Turner or Xander Bogaerts are going to be on their respective teams when they're 41 years old? Come on. It's just to play with the salary cap. That's all it is, which is fine. So you would do that.
And two things. You could defer money, as we've seen before with a bunch of other guys too as well. Whether they do that or not, that's fine. You see Shohei Ohtani, those kind of guys. And I think about the example that just happened, Luis Severino. I mean, 3 years, $67 million. He's going to one of the worst teams. He's going to play in a minor league park. That's probably the best offer he got, in my opinion. Can I be wrong? Yeah. But
no.
I think that's the most money that somebody came up. I'm sure that's what happened. He went to the other teams that wanted him, and boom. Sometimes the money, if it's too good to be true, that's not too good to be true. If it's good to be true, you take it and run, and you don't have to wait.
Exactly. They're going for the most money, and there's an opt-out in there too. All right, we got a lot to cover with Ken, so let's get right to him when we swing back. 2 minutes till Ken Rosenthal's here. All right, FT fam, the show you're watching is free because of our sponsors, and I almost had a tear in my eye when I was watching back the show yesterday. You guys you were so good yesterday talking about our proud sponsors. So let's go over Storyworth here. Here's the deal, okay? $10 off your first purchase at storyworth.com/foul. And what do you get when you sign up for Storyworth? you get lifelong memories all packaged up in a book that you don't have to make. They make it for you. Okay. So Todd Father tells stories every time he's on here. Technically, we could take all those. We type them up to Storyworth. We go back and forth with one of their associates, and they're awesome, right? And they package it all up for you. And you might think, oh, this is thousands of dollars. It's not. The one I picked up was $100. I used the code, year worth of stories and a lifetime of memories, and I'm under $100. Boom.
Great gift.
Solid.
Great gift for
Lasts
people who
forever.
don't want more knickknacks. And if you don't like typing, if you're worried like, oh man, I was saying it yesterday, you don't like typing, I don't want to type. You can just record your story. It's a new feature right there when they send you the email. Hit the button, record your story, bada bing.
Well, Kratzy, I love you because you start talking all Jersey type when you get on the show, which I absolutely adore. You're trying very hard. But yes, this is something that lasts forever, and you can go back and re-listen to it. And it's really good stories that, sometimes you forget. So why not put it down so you can remember it all the time?
I wonder how they came up with the name. Kidding. With Storyworth, I'm giving those. I love the thoughtful, personal gift from the heart. We're preserving those memories and stories for years to come. So go to storyworth.com/foul. Save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/foul to save $10 on your first purchase. Be right back with FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal. All right, let's do this. The Inside Scoop with FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal. Just a ton of great notes put out in The Athletic. So I advise you, of course, to subscribe and check out all of those notes. We're going to ask some follow-ups. So, Ken, I want to start with Ryan Helsley. Do you think this is just a bargaining tool? Can you explain, obviously, why you think the Cardinals might hold on to him at least for half a season?
Well, first, I was hearing from teams, Scott, that the Cardinals weren't eager to trade him, that they were talking more, maybe doing it at the deadline. So then I asked John Mozeliak, the president of baseball operations, and he said, our plan is to keep him. We're always going to keep our options open, but that is our plan. And what the Cardinals are doing is a reset, but it's not a teardown. And they evidently or clearly want to be competitive to some degree in 2025. Now, it's not going to be a situation where they're going out and signing free agents, but Helsley is a guy that clearly would also have value, great value at the deadline, but lesser value perhaps than he would have right now, because if you trade him right now, the team that gets him gains the right to give him a qualifying offer at the end of the season. A player traded in the middle of the season, you cannot give a qualifying offer to. So the return now probably would be greater, but you could also make the argument that relievers are always in demand at the deadline and that the Cardinals, if they trade him then, would do probably just as well.
Is it more of something when you talk to Mozeliak that it could be like a domino effect? If Arenado stays, yeah, you know what? We're not going to trade Helsley. We have a premier defensive third baseman. We'll keep our closer. We'll patch it together for a little bit. Or is it something that you feel like he is firm in his stance that unless it blows us away, we're not going to trade him?
Erik, they want to trade Arenado. Arenado probably hasn't really said this publicly, but he probably wants to go. He wants to play for a contending type team. This team is not pointing toward contention in 25. They're pointing toward creating some opportunities for younger players, doing some things along those lines. So I expect Arenado to go, maybe Steven Matz as well, but maybe not much more beyond that. And we've already heard, too, from the Cardinals or from some of their players, Wilson Contreras does not want to be traded. He's going to play first base for the next year. Sonny Gray did not want to be traded. So they're kind of, I wouldn't say handcuffed, but there's only so much they can do and only so much that they want to do. So that is what is driving the seeming desire to keep Helsley.
I also want to throw this in there. Helsley would love to stay, and then if they aren't good, get flipped at the deadline, because then you get rid of the qualifying offer. It just takes the penalty away. Yeah. So the other end of this is what you have been covering with Devin Williams, is the reason why the Brewers are so aggressive to trade someone like him now, at least partially tied to the fact that the Brewers are usually good. And that's a tough sell at the deadline if you have to trade away your closer if he's thriving.
Well, they did it once before, right? It didn't go
True.
so well. Josh Hader. And the Brewers, they're in a situation where they've got a really good bullpen. And they know Devin Williams is going to have extreme value in the trade market. Two-time Trevor Hoffman Award winner as the best reliever in the National League. He's the best guy out there. You can talk about Tanner Scott and all the others, but Devin Williams is the most proven closer. And he likely would command a significant price. Now, the Brewers are a team like the Rays, like the Guardians, that are constantly turning over players when they get to a point with their salary where they feel we can maybe do something to get a little bit cheaper. That, I would imagine, is their goal here. They could use more help in their rotation. They've got guys, and they've got younger guys, and Woodruff is coming back, but Freddie Peralta really is their only proven top of the rotation guy. So if you can make the same kind of trade you made for Corbin Burns last year, now he's not Corbin Burns, Devin Williams, but he's got a lot of value, then certainly you have to explore that, and you probably do it, right? They got for Corbin Burns, Joey Ortiz, who was a really good infielder and showed that last season, and DL Hall, a guy who is still figuring it out as a pitcher, but has a chance to be a contributor to this team this year and beyond.
Looking at the haul that they would get for Devin Williams, has there been somebody in the recent 10 years even that's had the resume of Devin Williams and was up on the trade block with the years of control? Because I can't think of anybody, but I'm also thinking of like guys who have won the Rolaids Relief. It was the Rolaids Relief Award before it became the Mariano and Trevor Hoffman Award.
Well, Devin Williams, if I'm not mistaken, is a free agent after this year. So years of control, that's not necessarily something that is such an appealing thing for the Brewers or even for an acquiring team. But we saw the Hader trade, and that was perhaps the best example of a guy like this getting traded. That's what I would compare it to. That was a little bit different, of course, at the deadline as opposed to now. And as I just said with regard to Helsley, you get Devin Williams now, you have the ability to extend him. Or if you cannot get that done, you make him a qualifying offer, and at least you gain the right to draft pick compensation. So for all those reasons, we've seen the Brewers do this kind of thing before. I would not be surprised to see them do it again. And frankly, if I'm them and I know in the market that Helsley is not really out there, it further emboldens me to make the best deal I can because I don't have that competition from Helsley, who last year was the Trevor Hoffman winner.
Let me ask you this. Matt Chapman, you wrote a little bit ago, has come out and said he will play shortstop if they do decide to go for Ha-Seong Kim. I mean, that is absolutely incredible. A third baseman going to shortstop. Can you give us a little background about this? And, has he played shortstop before? I mean, was he a shortstop before a third baseman? Give us a little inkling about, decision for him to even say that. Can he do it?
Very limited at shortstop. I believe it's 16 games total, college and pro. So it's not like he's played that position a lot. But of course, he is a brilliant defender at third. And I don't have much doubt that on a short-term basis, he could handle that position. I don't think anyone would doubt that. What happened here is that the Giants and Chapman, I guess, were talking about this possibility of Ha-Seong Kim, a guy who's coming off shoulder surgery. And what if the Giants signed him? At that point, would Chapman be willing to move over temporarily? And Chapman, from what I understand and what I wrote, agreed to that. And it speaks to him and his willingness to kind of do anything that the team desires, within reason, of course. And it speaks perhaps as well to the connection that Buster Posey, the new president of baseball operations, has with players. Buster's a former player. He's a guy people respect. You guys know this. There is a different kind of conversation that takes place between former player and player than between standard front office executive and player. Just as there's a different conversation that takes place when you guys, Todd, Erik, AJ, Cameron, whoever, speaks to a player on our show versus me interviewing them for an article. It's a different relationship. And the Giants, it seems to me, will be able to leverage that. Now, Matt Chapman might have done this for any GM, I don't know. But there's something to Posey, too. I'm hearing a lot of good things about the feel he has for this job, even though he just started it. And I'm hearing that from agents. I'm hearing it from other teams. So good start so far for Buster Posey. I know he really hasn't done anything yet, but the things I'm hearing are positive.
Well, it sounds like it's positive for Danny Jansen, or is a one-year deal not positive? Can you give us a little more insight? Thought maybe he would be a little bit more than a one-year deal, but maybe a chance to start in Tampa.
He's in agreement with the Rays, and Robert Murray reporting that it's an $8.5 million deal for 1 year. So that, to me, is a good number, Erik, for a guy like Danny Jansen. And the Rays, like the A's yesterday, probably have to pay a little bit more because he'll be playing his home games at Steinbrenner Field, a minor league Florida State League park. I don't know that that's too enticing for most free agents, but Danny Jansen's going to brave the rainouts and the rain delays and the doubleheaders and all the wonderful things that the Rays are going to have to deal with this year. The Rays have been looking for a catcher, really, my goodness, ever since they failed to draft Posey and took Tim Beckham. I don't remember the year. And this is a guy who will be looking, as you said, Erik, to reestablish his value. He can hit. He is a great guy on a team. The Blue Jays absolutely loved him. So for the Rays, to me, this is a positive move.
And a guy who knows the division well, of course, too. That certainly doesn't hurt. Okay, so we'll stay in the division. I always love the way that you've been writing about the Blue Jays over the past year and change, and you used the word baffling in your latest notes column about what the Blue Jays are up to. We can tie it into the Juan Soto sweepstakes, but the chances that they offer the most and that they have a lot of promise to show can't be high at this point. I mean, it is really tough to understand the plan, and I'm glad that you're documenting that in your notes again.
It is difficult to understand this, and we've talked about it at some length on this show. One, if you wanted Soto, you should have locked up Vlad Jr. by now. Now, maybe the plan is to get Soto and then lock up Vlad Jr., but it becomes that much more difficult after Soto's number, 600, 650, 700, whatever it is on the board. No one's confusing Vlad Jr. with Soto. I get it, but Soto is going to raise the bar for everyone, and Vlad is a free agent after next season. So that's one thing. The other thing is the Jays have a lot of holes. Now, they have a collection of young position players, including a couple of guys that they acquired at the deadline, Jonathan Clase, Joey Loperfido, Will Wagner, that they feel can maybe bridge them to the next competitive Blue Jays team, or actually a competitive Blue Jays team this year. So they feel that even if Guerrero and Bichette leave, and they don't get Soto, that because they have these guys, they're going to be in a decent position, have a reasonable floor. I don't know that we can really say that with confidence, but that seems to be the plan. And again, if you're Juan Soto, and we don't know what Juan Soto's preferences are, that's one of the reasons this is such a mystery. Why would you choose Toronto, even for more money, when you can get great money from the Yankees, the Mets, the Reds, whoever? Why would you choose a team with a weak farm system, a team where Guerrero and Bichette are not guaranteed to be with after this season, a team that just kind of isn't really as strong in its foundation as some of the other clubs that are bidding for you? If he wants the most money and the Jays offer the most money, God bless him. I just have a hard time seeing it happen.
Luis Severino just signed a deal with the Oakland A's, 3 years, I think $67 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about that signing right there. I mean, the A's are another team that's going to be playing in a minor league park. What do you think was the decision there for him to go there? I mean, he was a really good pitcher this last year. Probably could have gone to a numerous amount of teams, contending teams. Talk a little about that decision, and good for him. I mean, I would say for sure.
I would imagine this was a financially driven decision, that because he had the qualifying offer attached, maybe the other offers weren't quite as enticing as the A's were. And I don't know what the difference was. I don't know if he didn't have an offer within 10 million, within 5 million, whatever the case might be. But that deal for a pitcher with a qualifying offer was considered by the industry to be pretty good, really good for the player, kind of steep, actually. So it's a money thing, of course. It generally is in free agency. You cannot fault any player for that. Obviously, he is sentenced to Sacramento purgatory for the next 3 years, but that's the choice he made. And the A's, we don't talk about them much on the field because we talk so much about what they're doing off the field, but they're kind of an intriguing team. They've got some good things happening, and it goes even beyond Rooker and some of the other guys who have emerged for them. They are a team that is actually not that far away from contending for a wild card. They've got to do some things. They're probably going to have to make some trades because I can't imagine too many free agents are going to want to go there. But at the same time, that was a marker that they put down yesterday with Severino, and good for them.
Early in the offseason, or maybe even it was during the year last year, they talked about the $100 million payroll that they could possibly have. Whether we believe it or 150. Okay. So whether we believe that or not, they have a long way to go. If they reach that number, even close to that number, we talked about it yesterday on our show. Is it possible that they're more setting up for, hey, what city actually wants us because this Las Vegas thing might not work out? Now you're putting together a roster of a legitimate team if you're spending that much money, where if they were going to go where, hey, you know what, Vegas wants us, it doesn't matter, we're just going to stay status quo, why raise payroll? We already have a team. So to me, if they actually do this and they put the money up and they raise payroll, doesn't that make it look like they're trying to be more appealing to go to a new city that they have to sell themselves to?
Well, they are trying to do this, and the idea of raising payroll, I should say, is because they are moving into a new ballpark in Las Vegas. It's not that they're trying to sell themselves to another city. They have their city chosen. Now, we've all questioned whether this actually is going to happen until there's a shovel in the ground. The commissioner, Rob Manfred, said, I believe it was just last week, that all systems are go, that this is going to happen, even if there are overruns that the A's are responsible for. Now, they are trying to sell limited stakes in their ownership to raise more money, but again, there are no signs to indicate that this is not going to happen. And Erik, while what you suggest is kind of intriguing, if they were going to do that, if they were trying to sell themselves to the highest bidder as a team going to a new city, why didn't they get more competitive years ago? Why didn't they just do this before? So I don't think it's happening along those lines, but the idea has been, and I wrote about this several months ago, to ramp up payroll as they get closer to Vegas, and then to go into Vegas with, I don't know, 175, 200, something like that. I don't remember my exact numbers, what I reported, but they definitely want to be higher. And Severino is one guy that helps them get closer to what we were talking about.
Very timely. Season tickets on sale next week. Hey, that's good PR right there. While we're on the topic of alligator arm owners, let's finish with this topic. And there are many others in the notes column, Ken, that people can hit up right after this show. But I want to ask you about Cleveland. That's a team that I'm going to start to pick on. They made the playoffs. Their front office has done a brilliant job at quickly putting them in another really good place. They presumably made some money in the playoffs. I don't know for sure, but why do they have to tickle the $100 million payroll mark? It's weird. And they were going hard back when they made the World Series against the Cubs. And now, you can go over what you were writing about, but it's getting a little frustrating for me to follow this team at this point.
It's very frustrating. And to me, a team that makes the playoffs does make money. We know that. The Texas Rangers last year won the World Series, actually 2 years ago now, won the World Series, and because of their TV uncertainty, did not sign a single player outside of Tyler Mahle, who was coming off a TJ, to a multi-year deal. And when you make the playoffs, the money should be reinvested back into the team. Now, I know there's a lot of uncertainty with the future of the regional television networks and all of that. That applies to Cleveland as well. But at the same time, should they be trading Josh Naylor? No, they should be keeping Josh Naylor in tandem with Kyle Manzardo. Should they be trading Lane Thomas? Not when they have a shortage of outfielders. They should be adding to what they have there. So I'm with you, Scott. Obviously, I'm not inside their ownership's finances. I'm not inside their heads. But their front office does a tremendous job year in, year out at putting a pretty competitive product out there. Last year, they got to the ALCS. My goodness. It doesn't get much better than that. And granted, they were outmanned by the Yankees, but they got there. So, sure, they should be adding and not subtracting. Maybe they do something where they trade Naylor for a starting pitcher, and that's filling a need in another way, a need that they definitely have. Okay, but again, in a perfect world, what are you doing? You're keeping Naylor and signing a starting pitcher.
Yes.
Not what happened.
It's so they could easily afford 140, 150. Easily. Let them come out and go against me. We'll debate it all day. Easily. And that could put them in the World Series. So anyway, it's getting frustrating. But Ken, safe travels. We will hear from you next week at the winter meetings. Enjoy it. And maybe we'll all be working a little bit this weekend if Soto news comes out. But thank you, Ken. Good to see you. There is a chance.
Thanks, guys.
We'll talk soon. Thank you. Ken Rosenthal, Fair Territory host as well. Check out that show. Mondays and Thursdays is a live edition on the FT YouTube channel. Winter meetings are next week, people. We're going to talk about the latest Juan Soto rumors next on FT. All right, 2 minutes here on a Joel Sherman report about the Chicago Cubs looking like they're determined to trade either Seiya Suzuki or Cody Bellinger.
I think we've been talking about Cody Bellinger for a while.
Getting dealt?
Or getting picked up by, sending him somewhere. It just hasn't happened.
I know where he's going.
The boogie down.
Go ahead.
He is going to the Yanks. I read he is. I read about the Astros. I'm like, no chance.
I'm hitting Jack Curry up right now. Nope.
Text him and say, percentage chance the Yankees end up with Belly. It's actually a really good fit for them, and it's not going to cost much because the Cubs are trying to dump the money. They are. It's kind of crazy, but that's what they're trying to do because the Cubs want to be able to dance a little bit in the free agent market, and they're on this weird, strict budget right now. It's actually, to me, guys, there's a wider web to this. It's why the Cardinals are not going to go too crazy with, say, tanking in the offseason. They're just doing a little reload because they actually do think there's a chance that they could make noise in the NL Central and be the second best team there.
Who are they going to get for him now?
For Bellinger?
Yeah.
Salary relief.
That's it. You're just saying money.
Low level prospects. It's not going to be high level prospects because Bellinger could play one more season, opt out, get his buyout. And so his 1 year next year could be $32.5 million. And the Cubs are like, I'm nauseous. I can't handle this. And the Yanks are like, great. This guy can play an elite first, a great center field, move Judge to the corner. Obviously, this is one of their backup options. If Soto doesn't end up in New York or in the Bronx, he could still end up at Citi Field, of course. But I think this would be one of their first targets. Because here's the thing that's going to happen and we'll get into this more coming up, but the Yankees are going to do a lot of things if they don't get Soto to try and make up for this situation.
True.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay.
I
how
think
you can learn more
They
about.
should.
Yeah, I agree. So, and let's do this. We're about to talk about Soto. We'll include the Yanks and contingency plans. We'll get into the Red Sox. But if you want more on the Cubs, these are your insiders. Sharma and Mooney covering Northside Territory. Go type it in. Also, please give them some love. If you're watching right now on YouTube, just give them a subscribe, even if you hate the Cubs, because we're almost at 1,000 subs. And before that, you just do the show for free. So YouTube actually gives you a little bit of money once you get to 1,000.
Is this going to be a segment every day, too? If we do that every day, I might just take a couple minutes off.
AJ Przinsky here in spirit today. All right, so let's go over Juan Soto's latest. Yes, exactly. Guys, do you believe that the Red Sox are making this level push? So Alex Speier, who's pretty dialed in to the ball club, writes for the Boston Globe, said an update on the status of the negotiations and how the team's pursuit represents an effort to do something they haven't been able to accomplish in at least the last couple of decades, of course, landing that big name on the free agent market. And it sounds like they want him to, he said this, to name his price in another meeting. All right, guys, I'm taking over. I know Boris would be okay with this. I'll give him most of the profits. I'm going to go to the next meeting and say, hey, guys, $1 billion. You want me to name my price? Is that a real negotiating tactic?
Love it. Love it. I don't mind it. Go high, though. You go high and see where they're at after that.
Was that too low, Todd?
That was really high.
I mean, what do they expect, though? Name my price. Well, we'd like your price to be the highest price. Let's start there.
See, you get mad at that. I don't mind that. I would say I would go 15 years, 750 and see what, or no, 16 years, 750, excuse me, and go from there and go from there and see where they're at. What happens if they come at a price where you're like, oh my God, they just met what we really wanted and we can probably get a little more now? How many times that happens? Not many, but if it does, all of a sudden, if they come in at like 14,700, oh my God, oops, maybe that's what we wanted. And then you can nickel and dime your way through a couple more million, even though you don't even need it. Let's go. I don't know.
All I'm going to say is teams will negotiate because this is so trivial. But when I was a minor league free agent, the Rays and Yankees both wanted me. The Rays said, we'll give you $30,000 a month to play in the minor leagues. I was like, whoa. We took that back to the Yankees. The Yankees said, we'll do 35. The Rays came back. The Rays said, we'll do 35. We told the Yankees that, and they go, okay, we'll just name what it'll cost you to play in the minor leagues. And I told my agent, I go, tell them 50. My agent goes, no, that's too high. They won't go for it. I said, but they said name the price. Yeah. So my agent said 40 grand, and they go, okay, cool.
Oh, man.
Should have said 50. Your agent cost you 10 G's right there.
That's what I told him. That's what I told him. So if somebody says name your price, go higher. Whatever you
exactly.
I love that Kratz just used that comp too.
Here's the thing.
It's brutal.
If they're not willing to negotiate back with you, if you go too high because they lowball people all the time, then they really didn't want you at the end of the day. Like, listen, you're going to tell me to go high, and I'm looking for 25 million. If I'm looking for 25, 40. We'll give you 25. Okay, 38. Boom, 27. All of a sudden, you're meeting at 31, 32. Boom, you actually gained $7 million. You know what I'm saying?
Bet.
Most of the time, that's what happens. And you see this in housing. You see this, people nickel and diamond at the flea markets. I'm one of the best to do it. You give me $20, I'll bring back 15 things. It's how you talk to people. You should have seen me in Cuba when we played with the national team, these markets. They're trying to sell you these things that are incredible for 20. I said, no, I got $5 on me. What do you want me to do? All right, I'll go to the next guy. You know what I mean? Like, you have to play the game, and that's if there's more people out there.
Yeah, he just one-upped you, Kratz. You were talking about your 30 versus 40 versus 50K, while Soto's going over 650 versus 700 versus whatever million. And Todd Father's like, how about $5 versus $20 at the market in Cuba?
Listen, I will. You give me $20 at a flea market, I'll get you a bag of groceries. I'll get you 2 toys for your kids. I'll get you 4 blankets, and probably I'll get one of the persons to come over and clean your car. Like, that's all I need. Just give me $20. Give me that.
Todd's getting three slices of pie and a slingshot, and he's still got $9.53 left in change.
Without a doubt. Just forget. I need the gas to go home. They don't understand. I'll stay there for 5 hours and get everything I need. I don't care. I'll wait them all out.
You're hired. Do you think that the Yankees are still in this. So John Heyman put this
Yes.
out there. He said, just to clear up something, I think I might have been overplayed thanks to dreaded aggregation. And aggregation's on fire these days. It's just they take bits of articles and just go nuts. But he said the Yankees have not been told they will be given a last chance to match any high offer.
Every team will be given the last chance. That's the negotiation part of it. Every team will be given a last chance. If they're still in it, you can't tell me that the Mets are going to offer $700 million. They're not going to go at the last. They're like, nope, time's up. Auction's over. Be like, hey, last chance. Cohen said 700. What do you got? Cashman says, nope, not doing it. Like, they're going to offer it to everybody. They're going to go to Rogers, offer the same thing. Can you beat it? You need to beat it. We need to tell you got to go higher if you're going to beat it. Nope, can't do it. See ya.
I think he's going to be a Yankee. I do.
How much?
I think it's going to be around 14 years, $700 million, in my opinion. You have to get a big price, and it has to be. He's 26. He probably wants to play until he's 40 years old. I think that's where it is. I think that's where the offer should be. As crazy as that sounds, but I see the Yankees getting him at $700 million, 14 years. That's my call. What is that? 50? Is that 50 a year? Yeah.
But Steve Cohen said he'll go 50 mil more than anyone else. And then we got that.
I don't
think
think he will. I think
you don't think he will? You think he'll stop?
I think he likes it with the Yankees. So that's my opinion, but I would love for that to happen, of course. But that's what I think will happen. And hopefully I'm right.
If you're just going off like the few basic stats that we used to go off of back in the Stone Age, you might go, I don't get it. so here we go. This tweet got millions of views from Ronnie, whoever that is. Said, call me old fashioned. Oh, we will. But I can't bring myself to understand giving a career 285 hitter who averages 25 homers a season a contract worth $700 million. And then Brent Rooker said, you're old fashioned and also not good at math.
I wish I had tweeted this myself. Like, I am jealous of Ronnie. I am jealous.
Ronnie, baby. He's definitely from Jersey, too.
Lack of awareness.
I'm going to say it now. He's a
Jersey
guy.
He's not Southern or Central.
No, he's the North Jersey fan who doesn't like the Mets or the Yankees. He's a Philly fan from North Jersey.
Then he doesn't have a lot of friends. North Jersey does not take too kindly to the Philly fan in their territory. But
yeah, that's tough.
I think there are a few more stats that you should probably check out, Ronnie. On base percentage is always a great place to start. Check out where he's at, and then weigh it against everyone else. What else?
Clutch Gene in the playoffs. How about playoff stats? Ridiculous.
Slugging.
Look at this number. He just turned 26.
Yeah.
You can't
That's true.
you can't sit there and like everybody's value goes up when you're reaching free agency 2 years ahead of everybody. Superstars aren't making it at 26 years old. He's going to play this entire season at 26. Entire season. It's not like he's just sliding under the radar at 26. This is why Vladdy Jr.'s free agency next year is going to be crazy too because he is super young.
Hey, this is the dude in travel ball games at 15 years old, and he's just mashing balls, and you're like, dude, can we just check his birth certificate real quick? Man, this guy can't be 15. Soto, I'm talking about, like, and he's actually the younger of the 15-year-olds because of where his birthday is. Like this, I want people to understand, and I get on these little rants. This is once in a generational MLB baseball lifetime. We're going to see, this could never happen again. Some of the best players to ever play this game of baseball. I don't care what anybody says. Look in the past. Yeah, listen, Hall of Famers from Lou Gehrig to Babe Ruth to everybody. We're going to be talking about the Juan Sotos, the Shohei Ohtanis, the Mike Trouts, just to name a few guys, the Mookie Betts. I mean, think of the pitchers that we're seeing over the last 10 years. I don't even have to name them. This is the best baseball that we might see for the rest of our careers as we move forward before we end up dying in about, hopefully, when we turn 100 or something. But this could be the best baseball we are ever seeing play the game. And it is absolutely fantastic to watch. Buckle up, get a good seat, and watch the games and enjoy what you're watching. These are the best baseball players you might ever see ever.
Until next year.
Until next.
All right.
But do you know what I'm saying though? Would you guys agree with me on that?
What? That the talent's better now than ever?
No, yeah, now than ever.
But it's going to be
honestly
better
believe
a few years from now than it is now.
I hope so, but I'm talking about some of the best players, generational talents that in my opinion, I would love to see 800 Shohei Ohtanis. It would be great for baseball, but there's how long has it been since we've seen a Shohei Ohtani? You know what I'm saying? Like it's sorry, I get on these rants and I can't control myself.
Well, here's my thing. I'm going to put this in some context of our conversation. You're not going to get opportunities to land a top 3 bat in baseball at age 26 very often. You don't get free agents that are this young very often, that are this talented. You don't. That's what makes it special. The age is the biggest factor. If Juan Soto was a free agent at 31 years old, we would not be having any types of conversations like this. He'd get paid. He'd get plenty of money, but it wouldn't be anywhere in this stratosphere. The whole name of the game for a superstar in Major League Baseball is how quickly can you get to the show. That is the entire name of the game. Can you get there at 19 or 20? Great, because you're going to be so much richer than if you get there at 22 or 23. It's that much of a difference. Yeah. Because that's what the front offices play. They play the age curve game. And right now they're looking at him going, damn, I get 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, right? They're like, okay, we want to have our differences over how we project him at 35. That's fine. Also, remember, Freddie Freeman's looking pretty damn good with his hit tool right now in the big leagues. But that's 10 years down the road. Is this dude worth 50 mil a year right now in his prime? Yes.
He is
right now.
And one of the knocks against him actually could be something that will make the contract be worth more. People, and even AJ said the other day, all he really does is hit. Doesn't really play that great of an outfield. Look at what ages well. Hitting ages well. This man hits, like we said, he's a top 3 hitter in the game right now. If he were a big-time speed guy, it's hard to differentiate where speed comes in and out of somebody's game and their numbers besides stolen bases. He doesn't have that. Speed does not age well. It's the least well-aging thing in all of baseball. So he doesn't have that. So pretty much what Scott just said, I don't see him dropping off until 38, 39 years old. And you're talking about getting a good 10 to 14 years out of this contract. That might be my opinion, probably a 16-year contract.
Precisely. And you do that to spread out the years. We've talked about it very often. If you're a regular listener or watcher of this show, let's finish this part of the conversation with a note from James Shiano, who hosts Mets Up, and they are very closely following this story. He goes, can't believe I'm saying this, but I wish Soto would schedule a LeBron-style decision just so we can all have a date and time this will be over rather than catching notification that could be either pure euphoria or a roundhouse kick in the head. Well, unfortunately, guys, that's how it's going to go down. You're going to get a roundhouse kick in the head or you're going to get pure euphoria, the dopamine rush or destruction. Okay.
It would be so good for baseball.
I liked the decision.
Me too.
All right, let's do this. Final predictions for Soto. It's been going back and forth. I think for
you heard mine
to 6 weeks ago. Yeah, I heard yours. We probably were too low, Kratz. Me and you, at least. Todd Father just gave his finals. So just say it one more time, and then Kratz, you bounce off Todd Father with your final.
Where will Juan go? I think Juan will go to the Yankees. 14 years, a whopping $700 million. Woohoo!
And you're talking about present day value. Let's not do the deferral game, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Kratz?
16 years, $690 million.
Where do you think? You
To the
don't know.
Mets.
I love it.
16 years,
Oh my God.
$701 million. He goes, hey, all
What
you
a price
dummies
is
that
right.
don't
We're not playing
understand
the prices.
deferrals.
We're not playing the prices right here, okay?
No,
bud?
we are, because he wants to say I have the biggest contract deferrals or not over Ohtani. And he's like, you guys don't understand how deferrals work? That's fine. I still beat his number. 16 years, 701. He's a New York Met.
Oh man, forget you guys. I'm getting off the show. What is going on here?
What do you mean you're getting
Meet-
off the show? You're
meet
talking
the
like you
Mets,
didn't play for the
Read the
team.
Mets, Step right up, baby.
You had a great time with the Metropolitans,
I
and
did. I'm
they have a
busting
good
chops.
owner.
You know that.
Yeah,
You know I'm busting chops.
I know.
Here
I
we
know.
go. Ratzy.
Exactly.
I want to give you a
guys are
smooch right now.
famous.
Look at you. All good. Oh,
I wouldn't be shocked
baby.
if he's a Yank or a Met. I would be shocked if he's a member of the Boston Red Sox. I'm like, so you don't bring back Mookie. You finished second on everyone, and now suddenly you found $700 million. That would be the one that would just blow my
Hey,
mind.
I got to give it to referee 583. Yankees 680 million, 12 years present day. You know, referee, I like where you're at, but I think he wants more. He wants more than 12 years.
Well, I think the team needs more, because otherwise they're going to get pounded on the luxury tax, aka salary cap. So
See, that's why you're on the show, because you know more about the money talks about that.
I'm a numbers nerd. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. I wouldn't have thought about that.
All right, FT fam. Next up, we're going to go in the weeds. Jim Bowden put out 7 big trades he'd like to see happen at the winter meetings. Some I love, some I don't. In the weeds, Jim Bowden is a writer for The Athletic, a former general manager, has a lot of different jobs. He comes on the show sometimes, and he just puts some thoughtful pieces out there. And he put 7 trades out there that he'd like to see happen at the winter meetings. I'm just doing the deep breath because there were so many comments on his article. And obviously a lot of people are just ripping the trades, but then you start to see people ripping the trades on both sides, and you're like, oh, okay. So I'm not saying they're all beautiful. I definitely have some critiques, which is what makes this fun. Let's do this, guys. Let's show the trades first, and then we'll let you pick one you like, one you don't like, and we'll go from there. So there's way more details within these, and that's what we'll dive into. But he's got the Red Sox getting Crochet from the White Sox, and the return is very interesting. He's got Tristan Casas, Connor Wong, and Wilyer Abreu, all big leaguers going back to the White Sox, okay? Philly's getting Ryan Helsley from the Cardinals. That's a deal that also includes Alec Boehm, Nolan Arenado, and another prospect from Philadelphia. He's got the Reds landing Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox. And again, this is not from sources. This is just deals he'd like to see. He has Bryce Miller going from the Mariners to the Orioles, and really the prize going back would be Kobe Mayo, is what he wrote about, who's a top hitting prospect in the Orioles organization. He's got the Astros getting Bellinger from the Cubs, Devin Williams going from the Brewers to the Dodgers, and the Yankees acquiring Yandy Diaz to handle first base. Who's most excited about this one besides me? I'll go in between, but Kratz or
I
Todd,
think
you got one you're really excited about?
I could see them all happening. It's insanity.
No way.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's going to happen. The one that came to my mind is the Devin Williams and the Dodgers. And now, like, thinking about it, that can happen too. Like, this is crazy, bro. This guy, Bowden, he's on point. He's always been on point.
Wait, I'm gonna go against you there, though. Okay, well, let me give you. So let's pick on that one, for example. So the Dodgers get Devin Williams from the Brewers. Definitely possible, although I would have a little bit of a hard time seeing the Brewers trade one of their top closers to a team that they legitimately could face in the NLDS or the NLCS. And
that's what I was thinking.
He put the return for me was way too light for Milwaukee. Kratz, he put Gavin Lux in there. They're already going to play Joey Ortiz at shortstop, so they don't need him there, and he put him as short. And Lux is not playing short anymore, so he's second, but they have a second baseman. So we've got, and obviously in Terang, who's awesome. And then he put Justin Robleski, the 24-year-old lefty, in there. I'm like, whoa. If I'm the Brewers, I think you're better off getting 2 pitching prospects deeper in the Dodgers system. You know, they don't have to be guys that contribute right away for Milwaukee. They've got plenty already. They've got a good roster. But those names don't fit for me. Robleski fits as a secondary piece. Lux doesn't fit for me. I get the Wisconsin connection. I don't care where a guy's from. That doesn't really matter to me in a trade.
Yeah.
Now, I don't feel like that's where they need to upgrade. I feel like their internal options of who's going to move to short. We heard Pat Murphy talk about going, Joey Ortiz can pick it a little bit. You talk about Terang possibly. To me, I think what I liked about it was the fact that what do the Dodgers have in excess? Starting pitching. Can they get one of those younger, controllable starting pitchers who's healthy in that deal? I'm not saying that they go with a Bobby Miller or a Dustin May type, because I don't think Dustin May is going to necessarily start, but the team has that. So I think there could be somebody in there that's going to be a super low level prospect and then somebody that hops right into their rotation.
I'll give you one I like, Todd Father, but the only one side of it, okay?
Yeah, and then we'll stop. No.
Yeah. So I've been strong on this. Garrett Crochet for the Red Sox or the Orioles. I think both Boston or Baltimore are really good fits based on the prospects they have. I hated the other side for multiple reasons here. He's got Casas, he's got Wilyer Abreu, and he's got Connor Wong. And I'm telling you, if you look at the comments, there are hundreds just on that trade alone bashing the trade for both sides, right? Not the Crochet landing with Boston part, but what they're giving up. Boston fans think it's way too much and they don't want to give those guys up. White Sox fans it's not that they don't want those guys. They have a different plan in mind and they're actually smart on this. They're not going to be good for several years. I don't want big leaguers that already have service time eaten up. Not even 1 year. I do not want that. It is going to take a long time for the White Sox to build this back up. I'm telling you, it has been torn down to the shreds and there's not much there in the minor leagues. So for me, Kratz, the conversation has to start with somebody from the Big Four and really any of them. And so if that's Meyer, because he had a little bit more of the down year and the injury concerns and they've got other options in that spot, fine. If he's fallen to 4, I can build a deal around him. Okay. Connor Wong, for example, the Red Sox need Connor Wong.
I definitely take Connor Wong out of there for both teams. The Red Sox need him, and he's going to be a free agent by the time the White Sox start winning. Yeah. So I would go as far as to say if Williers in there, you think about the fact that they got Miguel Vargas, unbeknownst to Miguel Vargas, but I think Willier could possibly play center field if they get rid of Lubob in Chicago. But to me, it has to be a Marcelo Meyer, possibly a Kyle Teal, and a Wilyer Abreu, and then one other prospect for Garrett Crochet. I don't think even Casas has over 2 years right now of service. He's going to be gone by the time this team is in primes. And you don't need a first baseman. The White Sox are going to sign a first baseman to play in AAA that could come up and fill your position for you. Like I feel like that's not where they're at. I do like the Wilyer Abreu part of it. But other than that, It's got to be guys with way less service.
Marcelo Meyer and Wilyer Abreu for Garrett Crochet.
Another one. I need one more.
But you're not getting one more from the Big Four. You're getting another mid or lower tier prospect. I think that deal could get it done. I do. And some people that are knocking Crochet on the Boston side in comments, you're crazy. I mean, he could be a number 1 for your team at a bargain price.
You just lost a lefty that struck out the world and won the Cy Young. So don't screw it up again and lose out on another lefty to your division, because that's where he's going to go. He's going to go to Baltimore. I know Philly had the deal kind of in place, but the Phillies wouldn't put Andrew Painter in there. So that would be fine if the Red Sox lost out to a National League team. You cannot lose him to Baltimore. You cannot.
And here's my thing about it. And Scotty, you brought up, I want minor leaguers. Okay, dude, this guy, he's established right now. He's one of the top left-handed pitchers in baseball. Excuse me. Give him the minor leaguers. They're still suspects at the end of the day. You know, Kratzy, I think you would agree with me here, dog. You've been around the block a lot. If out of those 4 top minor leaguers, give them 3 top 20 guys, give them another top 50 guy you got, or suspectfully who you think it is, give them those guys. Guess what? You got a guy for years to come, or hopefully years. You'll have him for, some odd years, and then you have to sign him back. Give him Crochet, get him, sign him for a long term. You got minor league guys. Most of those guys won't even make it. They'll get up there, but they won't stay long. I promise you that. It doesn't happen that way in baseball for many.
How did the Sale trade go with the White Sox, Todd? I'm saying it went well for the Red Sox. Yeah. I know they ended up offering, giving Chris Sale a big extension, but that's not part of this, right? You got Sale, you won a World Series, you gave up your crown, Yohan Moncada, big bonus money.
Yeah, look.
It was him and Kopech, right? Those were the 2 key pieces. Okay. Yeah. I'll take Sale.
For Kopech, he's doing great. Don't get me wrong, but it took him a while to get there. He had some struggles. He had some off-field stuff going on. Great kid, man. I loved him when he came up. I was there with him. But this guy right here is an absolute stud. If they want 4 of your top prospects, give them 4 of them. This guy is a beast. Oh, we're not going to give you, John Smith. John Smith is rated number 2. We can't give you him. You can take him. Go ahead. And I'll throw in a major leaguer too, because Tristan Castis, he needs to go to another team, man. He needs a different view. He does.
I disagree with that.
They
love him in Boston too.
I'm not saying they don't love him, but he needs to get going. This dude is a beast of a hitter, and I've seen him with USA ball. I know it's not major leagues, but I've seen this guy take off, and he hasn't taken off yet. He hasn't been the Tristan Castis that I know, and I think a change of scenery would be nice for him. And I'm not saying this deal is going to happen, but give up your top dogs that aren't even major league approved yet and send them over and let them prosper somewhere else. That's my feeling on the whole minor league for a big leaguer that's established.
All right. 2 more for me here. One that I think Todd would like, and probably the one that I thought was the most reasonable, even though it's interdivision, is Yandy Diaz to the Yanks. I mean, I think if they don't get Bellinger, that's actually a really good option for them and a great on-base percentage guy, a guy who has shown signs of good enough pop. You don't need a 40-homer guy at first base. The Yankees want a guy who's going to put a good at-bat together. Yandy Diaz can do that. I think he could step it up a notch if he's within that Yankee lineup. So if they get Bellinger, they could still do both. Bellinger could be center field and eventually a first baseman. And Yandy Diaz could be their first baseman for now. And then lastly, Kratz, you don't like it? Why?
I don't like it. I don't think it adds what the Yankees need. And I'm a huge Yandy Diaz fan, teammate for an entire season, twice.
I agree.
I don't think it's the type of hitter that will enhance this lineup. I don't think it's the athleticism that would enhance this team. The defense that would enhance this team, I think it would just be somebody to pick up, in my opinion.
Okay. And then, I talked about Bellinger already in the past. I think he's going to get dealt, but not to the Astros. And then lastly, the Orioles trade he has is Bryce Miller for Kobe Mayo. I don't think that's enough to get a deal done for the price of starting pitching these days. Bryce Miller has a chance to be a long-term number 2 starter, and he's got plenty of team control left. And I get that Kobe Mayo is a pretty big deal hitting prospect, but you're going to need to offer a lot more than that. And I just don't think it's realistic because the Mariners need to hold on to their core 5-6 pitchers. They do. I know that they have to improve the offense, but this is not the way. They actually have a pretty good farm system now. Trade prospects. They can't trade their starting pitching that just got to the bigs, has proven that they belong. Because also, chances are 1 or 2 of those guys are going to get hurt this year, and it could tumble really quickly for them. So I don't think that's a fair trade right now. I don't think that's the going rate.
Not at all. Not at all. Kobe Mayo.
No, Kratz had to sneeze.
No. He said Mayo.
That freezing?
Well, you're back. You're back. Last word, Kratz.
I don't care what Kobe Mayo's done. Bryce Miller, what he did last year, his stock to me is on the rise. On a team that has elite pitching, you need much more than Kobe Mayo. Sorry.
There you go. All right. So let us know your thoughts on those 7 trades. Check out Jim's article and comment if you're catching this later on. We'll get spreading rumors next. Carlos Mendoza's kid might be the next FT Senior Insider. FT fam, we want to shout out the Playmakers Classic presented by Fanatics. It's going down on February 18th, 2025. So make sure you check out more information at playerstrust.org. Todd Father, we've talked to you about it. Of course, FT was out there last year in Vegas. Now it's in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. There's the code for 15% off individual tickets. You use the code PlaymakersFT. We did a little giveaway recently to distribute some free tickets, but if you want to contribute to a good cause and get to a great party, obviously we like to do our best here on the charitable front. And so do many MLB players that we are lucky to have on the show too. So it is the easiest thing for us to do, to take a couple minutes to promote a really fun party and all the money going to a really good cause.
A night to remember, as we'd like to say, with a bunch of big leaguers just hanging out, and it definitely does. Goes to a good cause, and very limited number of tickets. So you got to get on this here quickly for sure, because they will sell out.
Yes, exactly. Kratz, you have last word on this one too.
I didn't hear what you guys said, but the Playmakers Classic is friggin' awesome. We were there last year. It's seriously up close and personal with superstars, and like Todd said, it's a good cause.
There you go. Playerstrust.org for more information. We are back in 1 minute to go over there you go. Playerstrust.org, Playmakers FT, 15% off. It's the whole deal. The food, the drinks, the entertainment, tons of current and former big leaguers and Hall of Famers are there. Coming up next, we will do a little spreading rumors action, because Carlos Mendoza is such a nice guy, and he's very bright, and he has raised some very entertaining children, and one of them is trying to break the Soto news. Spreading rumors. You guys know about the latest insider? Adrian Mendoza?
Oh, Adrian.
Mendy's
Yo,
kid?
Adrian.
We got to take Adrian.
What?
We got to take Adrian back to old Zillows, the PR guy for the Yankees, because Mendy was in with the Yankees. We got to take him back to some of those meetings about how important it is to make sure you're controlling your social media.
Or not, because you're a kid and you could just have fun, and who cares? You don't work for the team.
He loves this. Scott loves this, man.
Obviously, he's a kid. Who cares? Let him do what he wants.
Oh, man. I love it.
If you believe that Carlos Mendoza's son is at the Mets facility every day and he's talking to the front office and the owner or whatever, if he catches a stray comment here and there from dad, okay. But if that's what you want to go off of your primary source of news, that's fine. And I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I'm saying if he wants to have a little fun on social media or with his friends, let's put it this way too. If he's at school, you don't think friends are asking him about things? And what's he supposed to do? Just say, oh, I can't say anything because my dad had a really strict public relations guy he used to work with at the Yankees, and they said, if you're 12, you can't talk. I'm like, get out of here. So here's the TikTok from Mendy's kid. And he said, Soto to the Sox? That's what a TikTok user said. And Adrian's like, yeah, Mets offer him $700 million over 15. So no. And the TikTok user goes, that offer hasn't been given. 3 teams offered 600 plus and none at the 700 mil mark. And then Adrian's like, bro, do you know who I am? All right, just watch and see Instagram if you don't believe me. That's just good.
Ooh.
That's good.
Hey, listen, he
Hey.
hears things. He hears Pops talking on the phone. Hey, what do we got? You know, how'd the conversation go? These kids listen. My kids do it all the time. Well, you said this. I'm like, how'd you know that? Well, overheard you on the phone saying, yeah, they know. I don't know. This could be something false, though, but you never know with these youngsters. Or he might be
I
just
could
like,
see-
you know what? Yeah.
I could see Todd when he was a kid, his ear to the vent in the house. See, we didn't have air conditioning in my house growing up, so we didn't have a vent to listen to. But I could hear Todd. If Todd doesn't get his homework in, we're going to take his keys away. What? So that's
Hey.
what Adrian's doing.
We used
Had
to
his
have
ear
those
to the
phones
vent.
back in the day. The one with the cord phones. They used to yank and go on. If you go on real slowly and take it off the hook real slowly, they wouldn't hear
You could
you
hear
on
what
the
they're
other
saying.
line. You remember you take it off and cover so they wouldn't hear
Oh,
you
yeah.
breathing. You're like, is somebody on the other line? And you got to be real quiet. And then you hear their footstep. Then you got to chunk it back down. No, man, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. I mean, you know, I think maybe he's just, you know, sick of hearing it. And he just like, you know what? I'm a young kid. I can say what I want. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, he's 12. He's 12. Let him be a kid. Okay? All he's doing is reciting the line that all you athletes use when you get pulled over for going 10, 15 over the speed limit. Do you know who I am?
That was something.
I am Erik Kratz. Do you see my baseball reference? Do you know how many teams I played for? Have you watched the Kratz hat segment? I get those
That's
hats
why-
for free.
That's why I have a gold card now from the Pennsylvania State Police, because when I pull do you know who I am? Like, didn't you play for the Rockies this year? Didn't you just re-sign with the Rockies? Are you
Weren't
Jacob
you guys
Stallings?
weren't you the guy on the Goonies? Isn't that what they asked?
Where'd you? Hey, you guys! Baby Ruth?
You know, a lot of our fan base actually doesn't know what you're talking about with that one now. I'm getting up there.
Nobody,
I do.
not many people know the Goonies. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
It's a weekend. It's a cold weekend here in the Northeast. You need to check it out.
Oof, it's real.
I'm
We're
going
getting-
to do final thoughts on this one for you guys, okay? I want to remind you of
please
something
do.
that you might have forgotten about. Do you remember last year when there was the weird Ohtani quote rule about how you couldn't talk about Fight Club / any Ohtani talks?
Mhm.
And Dave Roberts was like, bug off, I'm saying stuff.
Yeah.
Remember? And then everyone's like, oh, how could he? They should fire him. Like, how we doing? Didn't affect things. They won a World Series. They signed
But
him.
you know what it showed? It showed Dave Roberts as a person. It showed, maybe even showed Ohtani as a person what Dave Roberts is. Like, hey, we want to be super secret. And Dave Roberts was like, I'm so excited. We just talked to Shohei Ohtani. Like, there's a chance we could get him. Like, nobody's sitting there going.
But you're playing into my point right now. I'm Adrian Mendoza. I'm 12. I'm having fun. Everyone relax. It's baseball. It's entertainment. And if you think I know everything, great. And if you think I don't know anything, great. I'm 12.
No way.
That's why I'm like, people freaking out. I saw on social, people are like, Metsing again, really giving it up. I'm like, you think Adrian Mendoza, Carlos Mendoza's kid, talking about an offer on a comment online is going to affect if Soto signs there or not? Please. You're crazy.
You know what's funny? Is Adrian's closer to Juan Soto's age than Carlos Mendoza is to Juan Soto's age. Just so you know. Just so you know.
It's true. 26 gets you paid. Okay. FT fam, we are going to talk to someone who is now out of the game. It's been a while. We had Brandon Crawford for a decade and a half. Quitter. Yeah, right. We're going to talk to him about why and what's next.
any idea where Crochet could end up landing, or if he just stays with the White Sox?
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have heard this. That I mean, the White Sox, all things being equal, their priority would be to get position player returned back. At the trade deadline, when they had the Phillies involved, the Braves involved, the Dodgers involved, their internal conversations were, unless we get exactly what we want, then we're not going to move him. And at that time, there was a lot of executives of other teams who thought that the White Sox missed their best window of opportunity to trade Crochet. Well, you know what? The gamble that the White Sox played paid off, because now Crochet's demonstrated he can pitch over the course of a full year. He continues to be healthy. And I think as time goes on, he's going to be viewed as the best alternative to teams that don't want to pay, $200 million plus to a Corbin Burns. And we've seen with Chris Getz that he is willing to wait. He doesn't feel like that, hey, I have to trade this guy in December at the winter meetings. He doesn't feel pressure. He's got to do it in January. We saw him trade Dylan Cease last March. And so executives of other teams who are having conversations with the White Sox are telling me they think that, Chris is in a great position to get what he wants. Now, as you guys know from the trade deadline last year, at one point, the Phillies had a deal on the table, and if they'd been willing to trade Andrew Painter, they would have gotten Crochet. The Red Sox clearly have this great group of prospects to deal from. I don't know exactly who the White Sox are targeting in that one, but they would seem to be in a great position. And the Baltimore Orioles, at some point in this game of pitching musical chairs, the Orioles right in their window to win right now, they're going to have to make a decision. Are they willing to make an uncomfortable trade to get, the frontline starting pitcher they need? Or, are they going to have to try to go get someone like Nathan Eovaldi, who's less expensive than, say, a Max Fried or a Corbin Burns? I think, Chris is going to have an opportunity to make a great trade here. And at the beginning of this offseason, I was told by some agents, some executives, other teams, that the Blue Jays reek of desperation, that the Blue Jays are going to do something big. They're going to be aggressive, because they have the situation where you have 1 year left with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you got 1 year left with Bo Bichette. You basically, going forward, have almost a clean slate of a payroll, other than one more year, I think, with Kevin Gossman, one more year of George Springer. So you can go to Juan Soto and say, we'll give you a blank check. And, I don't think he's going to wind up with the Blue Jays. And if he's not, they're going to go out and they're going to do some other things.
Congratulations. Brandon Crawford just announcing his retirement about a week ago from the big leagues, an epic career, joining us on FT. Yeah, there we go. Just so I don't mess up the microphone. I would clap louder, but go ahead, Kratz. What's your liner to start here?
Kratz is being a punk. Look at him, man.
Yeah, of course he is, but he knows him.
What am I supposed to say? Congratulations, good job on quitting. Like you could have kept playing. It's not your fault the Cardinals didn't play you, but then you show up on this interview to flex on us in your beautiful car, like, and your unbelievably nice blue eyes. Like, what? I expect more.
I just got a retirement pump in, so I didn't have time to get home, so I'm still in the car.
Wow.
Let me see that. What are you doing? What are you doing more now in the gym than you did before? Is it more biceps? More back and tries?
I've done some more biceps, actually, yeah. A little bit more biceps.
Is it
it's
showing?
Still been no.
It will, though. Stick
more
with
so
it.
than my chest. I've never been a big chest guy. You've seen it.
Yeah,
So
bird
biceps
chest.
are there more
That's
than
okay.
chest, but
That's okay.
Still worked
You're
out.
more of a neck. You're a neck up guy. You're a neck up guy.
Stop. All right, bring me back. All right, so
Go ahead,
Top
Johnny.
Father.
I just want to bring up a story about this guy. We're playing in Cuba, okay? This guy is a true shortstop, right? We had him and Zach Cozart. They were going at it, trying to figure out who's playing short. They put him in the outfield. This guy gets a ball where I think was it in the game, I think, or I forget what it was. He gets one hop off the wall in right field, throws the ball to third base. This ball was on a line drive. I've never seen an arm like that before. It goes like people don't understand how good of an arm Brandon Crawford had. And I just had to say it. Do you remember that day when you threw that ball from off the right field?
It was still one of my better plays, I think, even throughout my whole big league career. And I'm glad you brought it up because I've talked about this play before, and people are like, "Yeah, all right, cool." Like,
It
yeah,
was
sure you
amazing.
did, guy.
No. And he wasn't even an out. He was a shortstop. We had to find a spot for him because he was so good. This guy, he took the ball, hit the wall, he grabbed it, hucked it to third base, and I'm just like, oh my God, didn't even hit the ground. Guy's out at third. One of the best plays I've ever seen in my life.
Thanks, Fresh. Thanks for bringing
Solid.
it up.
No, I had
You couldn't have played the outfield because when we played together, your sprint speed was 0.1 higher than my sprint speed, according to StatCast.
That's not accurate.
Well, hey, I'm just going by what
StatCast
StatCast said. Like you'd have been out there you've been out there like Pat Burrell running after fly balls, just cement shoes.
You're so bitter all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is.
Let me ask you this. You're calling it quits now. I mean, I shouldn't even say quits. You're calling it a career. You know what I mean? It's something that I know you take pride in. You've played for a long time. You've had some decision whether you want to play more years than that. Why now? Do you think? I mean, I know you still have some time. I feel like you could still play. I know Kratzy and I were done years before we were done, but why now? And then, working with Posey too. Is that a thing that might come up too as well as you move forward here?
That last part I can answer right away. No, not next year anyway. Who knows what the future holds after that, but I've always planned on taking the year after I retire off completely from everything, just being a dad, full time, being there for everything. And so no, on that front, no, I'm not planning on doing anything now. After that, who knows? Might want to stay in the game somehow, but I'll make that decision later. But as far as the retirement now, I went into this season just knowing that this was going to be it. The last couple of years in San Francisco didn't really leave a great taste in my mouth. I mean, a lot of it had to do with me not playing well and a lot of injuries and just not kind of how I planned on going out. And I know not everybody can go out the perfect way or anything like that. And getting released in August definitely wasn't the way I planned it either. But I still definitely like enjoyed this year and getting to know a new organization and play with a lot of guys that I wouldn't have been able to otherwise. The kids had a lot of great experiences at the field. They didn't want me to quit playing after last year, so they were happy to be able to have another 4 or 5 months of me playing baseball, and definitely glad I did it. But at the same time, knew that it was time to be done.
Do you feel like at some point you want or need a conversation with whoever made the decision in San Francisco to not bring you back? Do you feel like that's something that would give you closure? Because we talk about it all the time as guys who quit playing, guys who retire like you need closure on certain things. You can't just like go from being a superstar, being like the center of your family's attention, the center of the attention of fans, and then just... So do you feel like there's something in there that you're like, I'd like kind of an answer of why you didn't bring me back? Or are you good with it?
No, I mean, that conversation's been had. I know the reasons behind it. So no, it's not even worth talking about really anymore. So, and now that Buster's there, I mean, I'm going to be back next year they're having like a day for me next year in April. So that should be a lot of fun, and
Nice.
Looking forward to that.
What was your reaction when you saw Buster get that gig?
I was excited. I mean, I think he can do a great job. I don't think there's another person in the game with a better baseball mind and feel for the game and feel for the clubhouse and what it's supposed to look like and stuff like that. So, I mean, obviously he's new to the job, and but he's going to surround himself with a lot of smart people, and I can see him doing a great job.
What you have to give me one of these guys who's going to be the first to come and work under Buster? Is it going to be Joe Panic? Is it going to be Madison Bumgarner? Is it going to be Brandon Belt? Or is it going to be you?
Well, Joe's already there, so I'm gonna say Joe.
Oh, I didn't
Kelly.
know that.
Yeah, he was doing some special assistant stuff in the minor leagues with the infielders, I think. At least last year, maybe even the year before a little bit.
And which of the guys? Let's say all 5 of you guys come back and you're all working together. Who is most likely to be the one that Buster hired just to say that he hired him and to be his boss? That he's that guy's boss.
Probably Belt.
Probably Belt.
Just to say he's, yeah. I mean, I'm sure Buster would love to say he's Bum's boss too. I just don't see Madison folding as much as I could see Belt just taking it.
And he brought back Sabian already too, didn't he? I think Sabian's back already helping him out.
Not
no?
as far as I know. Bobby Evans is back.
Bobby Evans,
Yeah.
sorry. Bobby Evans is back helping already.
I think Sabe's still with the Yankees.
He's with the Yanks. Yeah. I was confusing my great front office execs with San Francisco history. But my question here is if Buster's talking to you, hey, what do you really like that we had in the last few years? What don't you like? What do we need to get back to? What would your answer be? Because obviously, they moved on from Far Anxiety and he takes a very different approach. And I'll be the fan here who just watches a ton of baseball. If that type of product isn't working, it's not the most attractive. Platoon City, the mixing and matching with the starters. Like, it's just not pretty baseball. If it wins, who cares? But it wasn't winning besides 2021 when you guys were cruising.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm sure they're still trying to figure that out too. What needs to change to get the Giants back into the the postseason on a regular basis. I mean, I think as far as the platoon stuff goes, it works in certain situations, but you shouldn't have a full lineup of platoon guys, which is kind of what it was turning into. It seemed like a little bit there. So, I mean, I think that's tough for, confidence levels to get on a roll, stuff like that. I mean, as the openers, I feel like at times we had 2 starting pitchers and then, the rest were bullpen days. That's gonna drain a bullpen, wear guys down. They're gonna be up and down using their options, all that kind of stuff. And it's not great mentally for those kind of guys. So, I mean, I think getting back to, what it used to look like, where there's at least 7 guys in the lineup that are playing every day. You get a full rotation of 5 starters that can give you, 5+ innings on a regular basis. I think I'm sure that's what that's what every team would prefer to do, and that's what I would imagine Buster will be looking for also.
All right, so then let me bring you to St. Louis for a moment. So you spend your last year there. I made this case the other day when we talked about your announcement. Do you appreciate that you got to spend one other year elsewhere? Everyone's going to say he's basically a lifer with San Francisco, but you at least just got to see what another organization is like, how they operate, what food they serve, what everything looks like. I know you've been to visiting, obviously, everywhere, ballparks and all that, but did you appreciate that?
Yeah, I did. I actually really enjoyed it. I have nothing bad to say about the Cardinals organization. They were great, communicated well, respected, my opinions on things, and they asked my opinions on things at times, and I think really respected what I said, and I loved that. The players were great to play with. Got a lot of guys in there that I'll call friends, for the rest of my life. So I was definitely happy to do it. And like I said before, the kids really enjoyed it. I was able to do some stuff with them that I really just didn't have time for when I was playing every day in San Francisco. Like, I would take them to the stadium early and just like throw balls to them and let them hit balls over the fence and stuff like that. And they loved it. And they just enjoyed, being able to occasionally watch me out there. When I would find the field, they enjoyed watching me for one more year.
Yeah, and that kind of leads to my question here. Or not mine. This is from a fan question, John Todd 22. Wonder if B. Crawl would consider coaching. Seems solid for it. I mean, not only major leagues or minor leagues, whatever it is. Maybe coaching the kids or whatever you have to do. You have anything in mind both ways?
Yeah, actually, next month I'll be doing my first little bit of coaching, offensive coordinator for our 8-year-olds flag football team. So I'm
Let's go.
looking forward to that.
Drawn up
I'm looking
plays.
forward to that. That'll be fun. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
How
Uh,
about in the big
as
leagues?
far as
No?
baseball, um, like I said before, who knows? What I'll want to do after next year and taking a full year off and being at home all the time. I mean, I really enjoy my time at home with the family and being able to go to their sports and see all their stuff. Um, but I don't know what's going to happen. Come next off season or whatever. Maybe I'll want to get back in and do some sort of special assistant or something like that. Work with infielders, maybe on a part-time basis. But I don't know. I truly don't know, and I'm just gonna take next year and see where things go from there.
Let me ask you this too. Manfred came out and talked about a golden at bat. They've thought about this. Have you heard about this new thing that he brought up?
A little bit, yeah. I haven't looked into it a whole lot, but
Yeah. So basically, you can put anybody for one at bat during the game in any spot needed. Most likely, a bases loaded spot. You'll bring in your best player. I mean, what do you think about that going into baseball? And how would you feel? Now bat. Oh, we're gonna put Erik Kratz in for Brandon Crawford here in this situation.
No.
I definitely don't love that. But
Got a call.
he
got the old
he
call.
definitely got a phone call or text.
That's okay.
oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's back. He's
sorry.
back. We're good.
Um, um, I don't love that idea at all. I think it completely changes the game, and I just that's that's really it. I mean, I don't think it's a great idea.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I like what Blake Trinan said yesterday. He said, what would Aaron Judge do with 160 extra at bats in the season? He's like,
Yeah.
well, 10 extra homers. There goes all your records.
That's what I mean. It just completely changes. I mean, it changes, like you said, like the number of at bats I hadn't even thought about, but it completely changes strategy and, guys that maybe wouldn't get a chance otherwise in a big clutch situation, getting that opportunity and, being able to have a big moment for themselves.
I want to hit family now. You've mentioned it. The kids hitting dingers in St. Louis and all that stuff. What was the best thing that your kids said when you finally told them that, you know what, Dad's done playing? Best or worst thing that you were like, maybe I should still play, or thank goodness I'm done playing. And then I want to hit one other family member after you answer that.
I mean, they knew going into the season, so there wasn't really anything this year. I mean, I guess the toughest part I think was when I was talking to him this off season about being done, and especially my 8-year-old Braxton, who's baseball 24/7. He was pretty disappointed that he wouldn't see Dad out there playing anymore, and just kind of seeing that disappointment from him was tough, and kind of caused me to want to play even a little bit more. And then when we were talking to a few teams, I'm not going to mention the team because I'm not going to call them out like that, but he was a little bit disappointed in which team it was that I was talking to, which he said something kind of funny, but
He
yeah.
he doesn't like the Dodgers. I get it. No giant kid could like the Dodgers. But anyway, at Christmas, since Christmas is coming up.
It wasn't the Dodgers, but yeah.
Okay. So anyway, the Rockies. But Anyway, what they
Stop.
were, I'm not going to guess anymore. Christmas is coming
Yeah,
up.
I'm going to stop eliminating teams. So
Yeah, that's good. Christmas is coming up. Is Garrett going to be jealous of you that you're just sitting there and you're like, you know what? I'm going to have a second bowl of pudding if you don't mind. I don't need to get ready for the season.
so we saw my side of the family at Thanksgiving. So we saw Garrett at Thanksgiving. I don't. He's always been pretty good diet wise, and I don't think he gets too jealous. So, and I mean he was playing in the World Series this October. I was sitting watching him, so we
Okay.
both have reasons to be jealous, I guess.
Okay.
All right, so that brings me to my question then. What's the story you're going to tell the most about your career when you're sitting with someone, or you're at some, I don't know, speech you're delivering someday, or you're talking to former players, kids, anyone, maybe even to the flag football team? But what's your go-to?
Probably how we were down 2-0 the 2012 NLDS, and how we won 3 straight in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying, Frage?
Not nice. I just gave you praise earlier
really?
too. That's not nice.
Yeah,
Man.
I know. I wish Kratzy was there. Maybe the 2014 World Series. How about that, Kratzy?
Yeah, there you go.
We could talk about that.
He's
You
got
beat
us
the
on
team that I was
everything here,
on.
Mo. He's
I
got
didn't
us on
play, but
everything.
I was on the team.
You were on the team. No, I mean honestly, probably the World Series, or really just the postseasons. I mean, I did bring up the Reds just to give you a hard time, Fresh. But I mean,
Love it.
that was one of a couple times that we were down like backs against the wall in 2012, and came back and won 3 straight. Then the NLCS we were down 3-1 and had to win 3 straight again, and we did. And then won the World Series, and then in 2014. Going 7 games and back and forth with Kansas City, with the tying run on third base and in the bottom of the 9th. Like it's just there's a lot of stories to tell. I feel like just in those postseasons, team wise, and then I did hit a grand slam in the wild card game too in 2014. So like individually, that was a nice accomplishment too.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Hey, he's got
You
the
were a
total
beast,
package.
bro. No, he was
He's got
a
the
beast.
titles. He's got the one up on Kratz and on Todd Father. So, Brandon, congratulations, man. And enjoy, the chess, the buys, all that stuff that you can do now at the gym that you just don't have to care about anymore. Like, oh, feeling a little swole? Good. Go for it, dude. Thanks for the time, though. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Happy retirement to Brandon Crawford on Foul Territory. Coming right back with a positive update on the Rays ballpark situation. This is just so fitting. BetMGM win totals. Let's look at the Mariners. Probably the team I watch the most late night. They go into the season at 86.5. Everyone has a tough time with it, myself included. Kratz, I know I skipped this one, rightfully so. They finished just under at 85 dubs.
I don't think we skipped this one. I don't think we did.
I think we did.
I think we wanted it badly. I think we wanted a 90-win Mariners team to just stomp through everybody in the playoffs. Every playoff game, 3-1, 1-0, 2-1.
It's not how it works, though. And my thing was, I was a big believer in the Astros heading into the season. And they did ultimately accomplish the division goal. They didn't play well in the playoffs, but I was like, this team looks much more stacked than the rest. They had a brutal start, but they still swung around and did what they needed to do. Kratz, I had Astros, and then I was back and forth with Rangers, Mariners. I think I went Rangers 2 and then Mariners 3. So you could make a case, oh, well, then you probably should have taken the under on them. But I'm like, thought there were 3 really good teams in the AL West. It didn't end up showing that way. There was only one playoff team from the AL West. But Todd Father, it's the same story here. They're hitting that 54% mark to a T. I hate to keep bringing it up, but I really actually don't hate bringing it up. It's true.
Yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, what a great number for them too as well. I mean, I think it's going to be, if I had to choose right now, I would say it would be under and it would be close again. It's just they don't get over that hump. I mean, we still have a long way to go in the winter here to figure out if they're going to make some moves again. Mr. DePoto, let's go, man. Find a way. I mean, he tries, don't get me wrong, but I still think they need a little bit more to get over that 86.5 mark.
I agree. Ownership makes it tough for him. Maybe he needs to hit the felt. Ante up, Jersey and Michigan. If you play BetMGM poker like we do, everybody on this show today, big part of that little dance. Now we can play if we're in Jersey against Michigan. So those two states have a little merger, and that means bigger prize pools, more players, more chances to win. Go check it out. Just type in BetMGM poker and download the app and have fun. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800. We'll get to the Rays news coming back, and then I'll answer your questions in slap hands. I'm actually Kratz and Todd Father should answer them. All right, looking ahead. So there's some good news on the Rays ballpark situation, and this is from Front Office Sports. I've seen it covered all over the place here. So the St. Pete approved the $1.3 billion Rays Stadium, ending relocation rumors. St. Petersburg City Council formally approved the stadium plan. Team owner Stu Sternberg acknowledged prior missteps, but reaffirms his commitment to the market. All right, so that's all good news. The one other thing I did see, though, guys, and I'm kind of seeing this right as we were going into the show, was that there is still another approval process. Pinellas County has yet to formally revisit their portion of the bond. So they're going to meet on December 17th, but it looks like it's back on a pretty good track. Just some nice public bargaining going on. We don't like this. We're going to leave. No, let's fix this, blah, blah, blah. But it's good.
Make sure my people get paid. I ran on the platform of teachers getting more money. Got to make sure before I approve this stadium that my teachers get a little bit more cashish in the pocket.
Are you saying? Wait. Are you saying that there are other motives involved, and that it might be a little scammy? And
I didn't say scammy. I said these guys that were just voting ran on a certain platform, and if there's hundreds of millions given out, I'll sign my Herbie Hancock on the line there if you make sure, I ran for the teachers. I wanted the teachers to get more in Pinellas County. Oh, look at that. My teacher's plan went through. Neato. Herbie Hancock.
Yeah, actually, we should bring, and we have Samson on sometimes, who used to be part of the Marlins head honcho, Todd Father, and I was studying that case when they got the new ballpark, and there was one of those situations where it was massive. I got to ask him about it, because obviously you always want to ask someone when they're with the team. It was like somebody else ended up getting like big millions towards their project. Teachers, I'm cool with that. I mean, this project was different, so I got to look back. I don't want to misquote, but
look where the stadium is in Miami. That is not where it was supposed to be, and anyway, that will connect your dots in the story.
Boom.
Kratzy, I like how you're talking about people getting greased up, man. I love that. You rub my back, I'll rub yours. All good, man. There's some stuff in baseball where you see it just like, oh my God, like, holy cow, we're still talking about this. It's crazy. There's just a couple things in all of sports, but all right, well, this is a step. Is this a step forward, Scott? I would assume.
No, it's a step. Okay, so let me explain in really, really layman terms. We already hit this step. We took a step backwards. Now we've gone back to the step. We've taken really, I think, 2 steps back. They're getting this reapproval, another reapproval. In all seriousness, obviously, some of this got messed up with the weather down there too. So there's a lot of drama going on. And then the election, you have new elected officials in. They have their own initiatives. So it's super fun. One thing I can promise you, and then we'll be right back. So I want to save a few more minutes for slap hands. I want to do like a 5 to 7 minute slap hand so you can answer a lot of your trade questions. One thing I can answer, never going to be a political foul territory. Never going to have one.
Naga.
Nope. Sorry.
Not gonna do
You
it.
got other options there. So enjoy it. But anyway, we'll be right back.
Take us a little bit into the bullpen life because they said the name Alex Vesia and he was on here when Trevor was on. I need you to confirm or deny. Do you have to move away from Alex as the game moves on? Because he was on the show and my guy had so much energy. He was like intense. And I'm like, man, if he's like this on the show, in the bullpen, you might just be like, Alex is talking to me. Like
Alex and I have a very special relationship, and I'm gonna tell you this, Kratzy, because you're like a veterano. You've been through some of the old school grooming of young guys coming through. So I was in a clubhouse with like Jason Worth, Adam LaRoche, Zimmermans, and I had some really good veteran leaders in DC when I first came up. And it was like, hey, stick in your locker. Don't even sit on the leather couches until you're pull to pull. Like you have to earn that right. And they respected you as a player. But there's like some razzing that goes along, and I appreciate it because you have to earn the respect of your peers about how you carry your business. And if they respect the way you go about your business, then you can start to loosen up and like garner a closer relationship with them. The game's totally different now. You know, it's like everybody's got to be super comfortable. And so my first year with the Dodgers with Alex was in 21, and I was learning this new like lateral slider that everybody calls a sweeper, and you know, there's some mechanical cues you have to stay on top of that I learned through this process, but I was getting pretty fatigued in my elbow at the time. And I took some time off, like just a couple of days for a breather, and Vesia comes in. I met this guy just through spring training. Heard he has like this crazy vert four seamer, which is not in my game at all. So I don't pay attention to it. And he walks up to my locker and he goes, "Are you down today?" I was like, "Yeah, they're going to give me one more day." He's like, "Are you going to be okay? Is your Blakey going to be okay?" And I was like, you know, like my head's like wanting to explode, and I'm not a guy that cusses. And I said, "Alex, hold on a second." I told everybody else to leave, and I said, "Listen, dude, if you would have come up in the time that I came up and you were to say that to somebody," and I'm not like a super vet at the time. I've got like 8 years, 7 years. And I said, if you were to say something like that to somebody without knowing and you're like a rookie, like Jason Worth, if I said that to Jason Worth, he would have walked into Matt Williams' office and said, "Ship his butt back to AAA. I'm never playing with this guy again. Get him out of here." And it would have been done like that. So like, I'm all for, if I get to know you and you want to joke around, that's fine. When there's like 8 people around and you want to do it, like that's not going to fly.
All right, let's rip through some questions while we have time here on Slap Hands. So Jay Farrell was saying that the A's overpaid for Sevy. That drives payroll higher, but does it really get them closer to winning? Yes, it does get them closer to winning. They'll win more games with Sevy in the rotation. I mean, as long as he's healthy, and if you get the version we just saw, it's good. Also, like Kratz, I listened yesterday and I thought the same thing. He got very similar money to Kikuchi as a younger player, super different pitching profile, but you could make a case that he'll be better the next 3 years than Kikuchi, and I wouldn't go, "You're crazy."
Could be less strikeouts, but that doesn't mean, like, when you're talking about production, you're talking about, and the difference is, like, at the end of the season, Brady Basso made some starts. One of my favorite coaches' sons came up and made some starts for Oakland. If Luis Severino is making starts instead of Brady Basso, that is a good thing. That is a win total that is a up in the win total. And we're not even talking about what he brings to the staff, what he brings, his experience being in New York, playing in the American League already. Like, That's a huge get for the A's.
I agree.
Great.
I thought it was going to be I thought it was going to be a bigger overpay, Todd Father, to get a veteran who's made money to play in Sacramento for the next few years. And he's got the opt-out after year 2, so it could be 2 years. But I thought it was going to be a larger overpay. I did.
Comes down to money sometimes, as we know that.
Yeah, but I thought he was going to get, honestly, if it's Oakland, for most vets, I'm like, you got to add a year and a chunk of money. And I thought 3 years was what I had pegged for Sevy anyway. Maybe a drop less, but not much. I was like, I thought he was going to get 4 years, 82 from Oakland, from ATH. Sorry, it's going to take me a while to get rid of that. Anyway, next up, Timbo, who gave us a super chat earlier, so we appreciate that, but also said, how about the Reds including Noel B. Marte in a deal for Crochet? Sure, they could, but his value is super low right now. Dude got popped for roids, came back, didn't look good. Let's do some math here.
He's going to have to reestablish his value to not just other teams, to the Reds. You get popped for roids and you come back and now you don't have as much power.
Yeah.
No points.
No. Let's do one more. Alex said, shouldn't the Astros have more money to play with? They haven't really seemed interested in keeping their core players together. Look at the Astros. They're top 5 payroll team. They actually spend. I don't criticize the Astros compared to the rest of the field. They make money, but not Yankee, Dodger, Met money. So I give them credit.
They've earned their money. I'm not saying I agree with the tanking, but they've earned it. They have won, and they've taken that winning money, and they have reinvested it into the team and built a sustainable team down there. And I think, honestly, if they're not going to sign Bregman, it's because they have a much better player in Kyle Tucker.
Boom. And then drop your Kratz hats. Mic drop to finish
it.
Let's see it.
Omaha Storm Chasers.
Ooh, nice. I like it.
And what I need our regular FT fans to do when that slap hands John comes on, that is absolutely fire. I need you to pick out and put in the chat what teams are not on the slap hands, whatever that is, highlight reel. I'll go first. Cubs. Figure out which teams are left off on the slap hands.
Interesting. Okay, that's good trivia for next time. You win a high five if you get them all right. See everyone on Monday. Matt Boyd, new Cub, is joining us, and Cam Maben's going to take over for Kratzy.